How did I get the name of my channel? You ask. Well, little passing line, and you'll miss it. Is when we first meet Luke, when when him and Owen are picking up 3PO and R2, he's complaining to Owen that he was going to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. So
Right.
that's where I got the name from, because when I was spitballing names trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I I was trying to figure out something that is Star Wars related but isn't, like, doesn't have Star Wars in the name or something like that. So
Right.
I wanted, when I thought of Tales from Tashi Station, I was like, that'll stick, that'll work.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
it works, man. Yeah, and it's also catchy too if you think about it,
yeah,
a lot of I feel like a lot of channels and other podcasts especially, it's
hmm,
always wrapped up with a Star Wars podcast, and it's like that's a good way to really dig in with the subject matter of your podcast. But yours, it's right in the name, Tales from Tashi Station. So that's pretty dope. It's you already
yeah.
know that it's a Star Wars podcast without announcing that it's a Star Wars podcast. So I
Hmm.
get it. What other names were you thinking of when you were spitballing some?
Uh, you know what? Now I really can't. Now I really can't recall. I just like I was just thinking like maybe like I was thinking more of like I wanted to do tales from something. I wanted to like, because you remember the show, I think it was on Goosebumps, or maybe it was Goosebumps adjacent, can't really remember. Um uh Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's what I was trying to go with something with that, like something that route. Like I wanted to do, I knew I wanted Tales in the title, but I was trying to think of like, do I want to do like a planet, or like,
Right. Yeah.
or something like that. And then I was watching a New Hope one day, and then Luke said Tashi Station. I was like, there it is.
Ding
I'm
ding
doing
ding
that.
ding.
So
Hell
it
yeah.
just kind of it just kind of went off. So yeah.
That's what's up, dude. See, and that's always the fun with it, like of course we're all here, and especially you and I right now conversating about Star Wars. That's the whole reason why we're here, but also it's to have fun. I don't think any of us have been like, it's going to be a hard day today, so I'm really just going to try to knock out some videos. I don't really want to, but I got to do it. Like there's no point in doing it that way. So, it's all fun, and that's the point. And obviously we have the love for Star Wars. But I mean, I feel that because when I was first starting my channel, I was actually going to go by Brando Calrissian because I love Lando. I love Billy D. Williams.
That's a good one.
Everything about that is just awesome. I mean, my cat's name's Lando, all that. And plus, my name's Brandon, so it all sticks. But I was also thinking
Yeah.
the Brand Inquisitor. But I was like, nah, we won't roll with that. And actually, one day I was at work and I was bartending at the time, and one of my coworkers, like one of the servers, was talking about the Mandalorian and how she was watching it, and then she called me the Brandolorian. I was like, wait, that
That,
works. But there was one thing I did want to ask you. I mean, I did see that you were up in Nashville, and I saw that
mhm.
you were, out with everybody within the Star Wars community. And man, that's awesome. I'm not really myself. I'm not too much of a con person. I've been a couple times. I've been to the one here in my hometown, and then I've also been to Fan Expo Denver, which was pretty cool. I
Mhm.
got to meet Hayden Christensen, and that was kind of like my main goal. And really, all the panels and stuff, I spent probably like 45 minutes to an hour. Um, but yeah, the main thing was just really meeting Hayden Christensen. So I feel like for me, I got to meet Ewan McGregor and Tamora Morrison. Those are like my top two that I got to meet outside of Hayden. But yeah, man, tell me how Nashville was.
Well, Nashville's pretty good, and honestly, to be honest with you, I'm not much of a con guy myself either. The whole reason that I went is because I knew that the guys from Mortis, Tony, Beyond the Dune Sea, and Will of the Force were all going to be there, and I'm like I'm like 4.5 hours away from Nashville, so it
Nice.
wasn't it wasn't that much of a drive for me. and I just wanted to meet him. I just wanted to hang out with my friends that I've collabed with online, that I talk to all the time, and it was honestly, it was more to get to see and hang out with them. I mean, the convention was awesome. I got to see a lot of really cool people. And I think the guy that played Wedge Antilles was there. Billy D was there.
Yeah.
Um, Warwick Davis was there. Going to the panel with Billy D. Williams was something that I'll never forget. Is being able to just be in the same room as Lando was
Right. Yeah,
awesome.
dude. For sure.
And just like I said, just hanging out with all those guys, all the guys that I mentioned, they're just. I mean, it was just awesome. Yeah, I can't say enough of it. It was just. I said it in in the last video. In the last video I did, they're not just on camera nice. They're genuinely good people, and it was
That's
just.
good.
It was awesome hanging out with them, and I cannot wait to do it again.
Yeah, that's good. That's what it's all about too, man. That's kind of like what I was talking about. And like you said, you're not too much of a con person yourself, but it's it's being able to get together with other fans, and that just so happen to be friends online. It's really
Mhm.
cool. You always hear those stories of, long time like gaming buddies like on the Xbox or PlayStation, and they end up finally meeting each other in real life. Like those stories have always kind of, it's warm to the touch, to the heart. So
Yeah,
all that stuff, like that stuff really means a lot. And that's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's and one day, like especially like next year for the Rebel ScumCon in Texas, like that's only 6 hours away from me, and I'm thinking about going to that because like crafting on Ilum, explore the Force. I think General Kenobi's bunker was there, so like all of those guys, are out
yeah,
there and basically just showing love, having a good time, and just Star Wars, man. It's weird how a movie, TV series, and just literal entertainment can bring all of us together. So that's dope.
yeah,
That's what I like about cons, of course.
yeah. That's something that I like. I like it did kind of, and I mentioned this to the guys at Beyond the Dune Sea when I saw them up there. I told them that like if I would have. So little story, the whole reason that I started listening to them is I was looking for a good podcast that was doing Ahsoka breakdowns. Like I just wanted
Mm,
someone that was doing in-depth Ahsoka breakdowns. That's all I wanted. And then um I I started listening to them weekly, and then I started hearing that they were talking about Mortis and Will the Force, Tony, and just one thing led to another. I started following all them. I started listening to all them, uh, and then after that, I just decided I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna make my Star Wars podcast, and then I'm I s- I made it, and one thing led to another, and well, here I am. So
right. Yeah, dude. It's dope.
yeah, it's crazy. And actually, I just got my 50th subscriber today on YouTube.
Let's go. Congrats, bro.
That here, and I'll make a post about it later. But
Yes, dope.
yeah, it was
Congrats, man.
it's been crazy. The fact that 50 people, that at least 50 subscribers, give a crap about what I'm saying online about Star Wars is just it's
Right, dude.
crazy.
Yeah. Hell
So
yeah. That's that's one of the best things about it too, because you're like, oh, like people actually like want to tune in and take time out of their day to check out a video of mine. Like
yeah,
that's what it's all about, man. I remember once I was actually stuck at like 60 subs for like months when I first started, and then I ended up posting like a short of my Lego minifigures, and I took like a spice rack from the clearance section at Target, and I ended up cutting out some Lego tiles, and ended up making like a three like little three decker to where I could set the minifigs on, and it was kind of like a tutorial type thing, and like it got like 1,000 views in like 2 hours. I was like, holy shit, like this is how we get views, you know.
Yeah.
And I ended up, you know, getting 40 subs from that, so I was at 101 by the end of, you know, that day. So like it's just weird how things you upload, people are like, oh, I'm interested in this, like this is cool, you know. It's just like when you know, you're on YouTube and you're watching someone and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm going to subscribe to this because I like this. Like, that's cool to know that someone else did that for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
just,
yeah, that's huge.
yeah, it's crazy. And speaking of shorts, um, I put out a little teaser short a couple of months ago at this point. It was it's about a little project that I've been doing that actually you helped me out with. So the short I'm talking about is the teaser that I put out for my of what if Obi-Wan took Anakin to Utapau, and that's been in the oven for a very long time. I've just had a lot of issues getting the lines that I needed, and just personal stuff just came up. But I will have that out by year's end. So be on the lookout for that. It's the first thing that I did on my when my channel was originally a Spotify channel. That was my first thing that I put out, was that 4-part series. And if I get enough hits on part one, I'm gonna do parts 2 through 4 same way and get them
Oh
out.
shit.
So
Damn,
yeah,
dude. Yeah, that'd be tight.
so
Yeah.
I
I
knew
mean,
because I knew I knew you were wondering about that, so I just wanted to give a little update. So
yeah, dude, that's what's up. I remember DMing you and being like, hey, like, can we talk about that? Or are we still keeping that, you know, behind the curtains yet?
oh
Because
no, yeah,
I was thinking,
we can definitely talk about that. It's something I've been working on that for months. It's just I just had a lot of personal stuff come up while I was trying to edit and get stuff going, and some people that could do that said they could do lines couldn't do them, but I I figured a way around it, and now I've just got to now here comes the hard part. Now I've just got to edit this thing. So
right. Yeah, dude. Because I remember when you made the post on Instagram, like looking for, you know, guests or people who can, you know, potentially do these voices. And I was like, it's like, man, that would be kind of tight, you know, like
well,
let me stick my name out there.
yeah, well, the one that you're talking about is actually I've actually got it pulled up right here. Yeah, it's pinned to my profile. It was just a uh ISO post, just looking for creators or people that want to give it a try, and you are my Mace Windu. So just a little
Yeah.
announcement for everybody out there. So but yeah, it's Star Wars what ifs have always been a passion for me, and
Yeah.
specifically the what if Anakin would have never turned. That's one that I know I'm not the only one that's like, what would have happened there? What could have happened? And the way that I interpreted it is certain things still happen, but but it's either like at a different time in the timeline, um or that one specific part just doesn't change. So
Right.
it really just depended on the situation and what it was, because I mean, I know these movies and these shows like the back of my hand at this point. So
Oh yeah.
it was really just trying to figure out uh what could work best. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to start getting this thing edited, and then, well, let's see if people like it. So
Dude, that's the thing though too, is I was thinking, you know, And yeah, for everyone on my side who's watching, you could look at me and be like, man, you can't be Mace Windu. Come on. But at the same time, I always felt some type of way when Mace got thrown out the window. Like I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith in theater, and I always tell people like what's like any of my like Star Wars like memories that I just remember. It's just, man, when Mace got thrown out, I felt some type of way, man. That hit me. But I've always loved
And
Mace. And I was like, man, that'd be kind of dope if I could voice this guy. I've always been told I'm good at like impersonating things, but that's more of like an in-person thing. I actually had to like put on the Samuel L. Jackson, outfit and kind of feel some type of way before I like,
yeah, yeah, I
like did
got
into
you.
the mic. But yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta kick it in the gear, man. It's gonna be dope, dude. That's
That's
why
what that's what everyone keeps. That's what everyone keeps telling me, and I'm hoping I do it justice. But
yeah, I mean,
I think I can. I've been thinking about this edit for months, so I think I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. So it's just stay tuned. Just stay tuned.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody who's watching this that's made it this far, just know it's coming. And I had the same question too, because I was like, man, I wonder if he's still doing that. And it wasn't the point that I was like, like, are you doing it? Like, what's going on with it? Like you said, things happen, things come up to where things get stalled. But I was like, I just like the idea of it. And I'm not too big of a what if, because I feel like I will get too in tune with that and go down that rabbit hole to where I'm like missing the whole point of what is like canon basically. So I try not to, string myself out too far, but I'm like, when it's a good idea, I'm like, okay, you can't run from this one. So like, that when you really think about it, like what if Anakin did go to Utapau with Obi-Wan? The story's completely changed no matter what,
Mhm.
So yeah, I love the idea, bro.
Yeah, and all I'm gonna say is things change, but things also stay the same.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only little nugget I'm given. So
Hey, we'll leave that topic alone. Everyone's heard about it. But yeah,
uh-huh.
stay tuned. I will drop Tales from Tashi Station down in the description. That way you guys can go subscribe and make sure you don't miss that when it comes out. But we'll all be posting it. Everyone who is in this project together, it'll be posted. So like when you said, I hope it gets the justice it deserves, bro, it will. Like it will for sure. Like
Yeah,
I'm pumped for it.
it's I can't wait to get my hands on it and really get started. But anyways, let's keep going.
Hey, yeah, what you got for show and tell, my guy?
Oh, well, just peeked it on the camera a little bit, but this is very near and dear to my heart.
Bro. Bro. I
So
haven't wow.
you know what these are, right?
Bro. I swear my dad used to have that. I swear.
That's funny story is one the reason I've got these is oh, 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 case. So
They're breathing your
um
air.
so the reason I had these is because this was years ago at this point. I was at my mom and dad's house just rooting around some old things, and this was just in our storage barn. And I looked at my dad. I was like, can I can I have this? So yeah, sure. I'm not using it.
Bro.
Uh, so I've had these for years at this point, and uh, these movies, each one of these are what got me started in
Bro.
Star Wars. In fact, I don't even think that I were to find a VHS player or a VCR player, that these would play anymore. Like I watched these at nauseum. Like one of my earliest memories of watching these movies was, and I don't know if this had to have been one of the, like, I probably have seen A New Hope like 3 or 4 different times at this point, but I remember I was watching the binary sunset scene,
Mm-hmm.
and this had to have been one of the earliest times I've ever seen that scene, and I just remember thinking, like, I felt like Luke at that moment, like
Bro,
what's about to unfold, what's about to happen,
right.
and I just, if it weren't for these, I would not have I wouldn't be here. I mean,
It's
these
crazy.
formed so much of my identity. It's it's insane. So
Man, that's tight as hell because the when you popped up the cover, I was like, no, because one of my early memories is we
mhm,
had the tape deck where you could rewind the tapes automatically. You put it in and it
mhm,
rewinds it for you. And I
yep,
always remember messing with that. And my dad had that, the 3-pack, and I always remember messing with those. And then the Phantom Menace had also been out at that time. This is like
mhm,
2000, like when this is all going down. And it was those 4 movies and Twister. Out of all the movies, those 5 right there. You know, the first 3, Phantom Menace and Twister, and I just remember always rewinding those, putting them in the in the VHS player and just watching them. So, dude, I feel you on that. That's crazy as
mhm,
hell, man. That's a It's near and dear to you, but it also has brought back memories that I haven't even thought of because we did
yeah,
have the DVDs as well, like the original trilogy.
yeah,
We had the
yeah,
3-pack of that, but the prequels we ended up just buying each of them kind of as they came out, more so
individually.
around Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, all
Yeah,
individual. So it's crazy.
that's how we did it as well. We got the special edition DVDs when they came out, and then every prequel that came out, we just got the DVDs that came with it.
Hell yeah.
And I would say those movies and Jedi Knight Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. Those two games, along with those VHSs, probably formed, like, I would say, like 90% of my identity as a fan. So
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. It's nice when you can recollect back to what got you started.
yeah, because,
And
like,
yeah.
what I and I actually said this in my Star Wars Origins episode. It was one of my earlier episodes that I did. It's on Spotify, I think. And I talk about these and those games, and I go down, like, I had to think about that episode, because I mean, I recollected everything that I played.
That's
So it
dope.
was, yeah. But yeah, like you were saying, it's crazy how certain things can form your opinion as a fan. Which,
Right.
I mean, everyone's got their own Star Wars. I mean, even like newer fans have. I mean, this the sequels are, as much as I don't like some of them, they are their Star Wars. Oh, and over time, my stance on the sequels has softened a little bit. The only one that I do not have any, the only one that I don't forgive and forget about is The Last Jedi. That movie, I will never, I don't, I just, I'm not going to get into it because we'll be here for another hour. I, I strongly dislike The Last Jedi. It's, yeah, that's all I can say without going on a tangent. So,
Yeah, no, that's cool, dude. That's we all have, the sides that we like, like I'm a huge prequel guy because that's what I grew up with, and
Yep, same.
um, I know older people that like the original trilogy who hate the prequels. Like I know someone personally who hates Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequels. Just says, it's just so that's not how he should have been leading up to Ben Kenobi on Tatooine in A New Hope. Which I mean, Obi-Wan's my favorite Jedi. He's my favorite, character. Besides like Boba Fett.
Mhm.
Quinlan Voss, like just some of my personal favorites. But yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan's the guy, but that's their opinion. I'm not gonna be upset about it. The sequels actually was so pumped to watch those. And some of them were just it wasn't what I expected, but overall, I still enjoy them. And besides like episode 3, I think the sequels, hot take, are like some of the most rewatchable Star Wars, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And I know the graphics and everything really pull weight for it, but yeah, I mean, it's all different. It's just I would rather hear that you're not a big fan of one of these episodes. That way I can be like, oh, well, that's cool. Like, here's my stance. Here's how
Yeah.
I see it, because it'd be kind of boring if we're just like, oh yeah, dude, like Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, top 2. Yeah, like stuff like that. I always want to know what other people like as well and what they don't like, because that's a huge
Yeah.
part in the fandom for sure.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm thankful for, that I found this side of the Star Wars fandom, if that makes sense. Like everyone
Yeah.
that I have had the pleasure of getting to know, when as I've started this journey, I mean, like I said earlier, they've all been good people.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Um, and I am throwing you in that bunch. You were gracious. A you were you were and really awesome dude. I really like your stuff, and I just that's what I think we need more of in Star Wars. Less mudslinging and more. Okay, I don't like this, but you like it, so let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Let's let's see if we
Literally.
can figure it out. So
Yeah, and it's like I'm not gonna try to sit here and like persuade you to like something. That's the weird thing. But it's also more of like, oh, like this is what I like connected with. This was the cool shit that I saw.
mhm.
Here's what called to me. But man, it's so weird, man. Twitter is such a disgusting place for how much I love it.
That's
I love
why
going on
I
there.
don't have one.
Man, it's so bad. It's so bad. I always love getting on there to see, sports rumors, like trade talks. I like to watch, some of my sports betting pages. And then of course I have my Star Wars page as well. I don't really post on it much, but it's crazy, bro. Like, and I know you've seen things on the internet too, but dude, this summer with the Acolyte, like, bro, like it's crazy what
Don't get me
it's
started.
crazy. It's crazy what people
Um,
be typing, man.
yeah, that's another whole can of worms. I just don't want to get in. I mean, I liked the Acolyte. I
Mhm.
thought it was good, and I really wanted to see what they would have done for a second season. But with all the review bombing and all the hate posting, they just couldn't. They could. I don't think they could justify a second season with the amount of hate that they were getting.
Yeah.
Um, so it is sad that happened, because they were. I mean, I liked what they were setting up, and I really wanted to see what they were going to do with Plagueis.
Mhm.
I mean, but when unfortunately we're not now. We're never going to know. So
Yeah. And I'm hoping with it, and it's weird too how people are like, "Oh, it was canceled." I didn't seem like a second season was ever greenlit. I know that you can cut it off early, but the word cancel was really weird at first, because I was like, "Well, was it even supposed to get a season 2?" But basically, my thing is, like you mentioned, Plagueis, love it. First time ever in live action we get to see Darth Plagueis, and we've only read about him in books, which are all legends now. We've
mhm.
heard Palpatine tell Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis, just a quick little tidbit. Like this guy is part of the lineage of Darth Vader, of Palpatine, of Darth Tenebris. You know, it's nuts. Snoke to Kylo Ren. You know, this whole lineage. And it's weird how we finally get him in a project in 2024, like nuts.
And then it just goes up in
It's
smoke.
yeah, and that was the weirdest thing to me because I remember looking at my brother, and he was just already staring at me like that's Plagueis, and I was like, bro, like I'm getting goosebumps again, like holy shit, dude.
My wife and I were watching it, and she sees his hands first, and my wife's a Star Wars fan. She knows who Plagueis was, but she saw the hands first, and like as soon as I saw his hands, I was like, "That no way, there's no way that's the camera prep. It was like, oh my, that's Plagueis." Like I started freaking out. So it's just like, oh, man,
it's nuts, dude.
Because I really wanted to see that, but you know,
yeah. See, and I'm hoping someone else can pick it up and kind of run with that idea, because my thing is, you know, The Walking Dead season 1. It's like, oh, okay, you know, zombies are taking over the world, and let's see how this ex cop can figure things out. You know, very slow first season. But you know, once you get to season 2 and 3, once they get to the prison, and then once they get to Terminus, and then to Alexandria, it's like, bro, this is one of the biggest shows of like the you know, new century. Like this is crazy.
And then they killed Glenn. And everybody left.
Yeah, there's always the 7A and the 7B. I went through until the Whispers died, and then I didn't. Season 10 and 11, I was like, all right, man, this is too much. But it's just like that. It's so weird.
I soldiered through it. I was like, I started this thing, I'm gonna end it. Like I
gotta get through.
So, but yeah, it's like that. I mean, I feel like, and
you got to give it time.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There were moments in that show that were in the Acolyte that were really good. When Qyburn, when we get the episode of Qyburn just taking everybody out, in my opinion, that's some of the best choreography I think we've seen since the prequels. I mean,
bro, I will stand on that. I'll stand on that 10 toes. That, bro, besides the duel of, okay. People did say, did say that it would top Duel of the Fates. Now, here's my thing. I grew up with the prequels, like I mentioned earlier. I absolutely loved young Obi-Wan, a weathered Qui-Gon going against Darth Maul. And when I was younger, I'd skip through to all the lightsaber scenes. And then as I got older, I'd start, you know, kind of paying attention to the political side and the prequels especially. But I wanted to see the choreography. It was beautiful. But then I was like, okay, hold on. With all of this chirping about it being better, I got to put my foot down. They each have their own thing. And then Battle of the Heroes, you just can't top that. I don't think that in all of Star Wars, I don't think that'll ever be topped. Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar. It's the Mecca.
Someone made a meme or I've seen it like 3 or 4 different times. That's the best. If you were to put best lightsaber duels, Battle of the Heroes, Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar is the best all around duel. But in my opinion, and this is my favorite duel, is Vader versus Luke on the Death Star. Because
I can't knock that. It's up there.
I've studied that fight so much. Like it's not so much the choreography, it's the stakes of that fight. And something that I learned watching that fight is everything that Yoda and Obi-Wan taught Luke, he figured out throughout that fight. Because what is he trying to do in that? What is he trying to do in that fight actively? He's trying to not fight his father. Every chance he gets, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
I will not fight you, father. It's fucking awesome.
The only time that he loses it is when he brings up Leia, and he just goes into a Jedi's fury, and almost kills his father. And then we get, in my opinion, one of the top 3 scenes in the entire series. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Yes. Fuck yes.
I love it. That scene, that whole scene is it's one of my favorites in all of Star Wars. Is the battle between Vader and Luke on the second Death Star. It's Star Wars, and that's why I love
it. Bro, yes, I get exactly what you're saying, because like Return of the Jedi is my second favorite movie. You know, it goes Revenge of the Sith, then Return of the Jedi. But I feel like everything from the beginning of that damn movie is high stakes. Everything. When they're at Jabba's palace, oh shit, we're gonna go get executed. We're dealing with one of the biggest gangsters in the Outer Rim, and they already have one of our we have one of our homies stuck in carbonite, and that's the whole point. Like, and especially at the end of Empire Strikes Back, Lando and Chewie are like, okay, we're gonna try to go figure out things with Jabba the Hutt. Crazy. So you already know going into episode 6, you're about to deal with some high stakes. Even getting caught by the Ewoks, like that, like there's a lot of shit going on. If you watch, but you don't pay attention. But yeah, dude, that's definitely up there in my top battles as well, because that means so much as a fan watching, but also for the character of Luke, for the character of Darth Vader, and even for Palpatine. It's all of the shady things that Palpatine did for all those years finally backlashed on him. And especially like in reading about like the Inquisitors, you understand that Palpatine had the Inquisitors to basically kind of taunt Vader. So he was always after, Vader for all of this time. So he's dealing with stuff himself, basically getting Padme, always bringing her up. So it's real messy, and it all leads right back to that same moment when Luke is like, you failed, man. You can't, you may have turned my father, but I know my father's true identity, and you're not going to, turn me the same way. Like, you got me messed up. Absolutely love that you brought that up, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Return of the Jedi,
what do you got here, for me?
This is a little smacker right here. This is what I call a banger. This is the Executor Super Star Destroyer MIDI scale Lego set. Huge Lego guy, obviously, but I just love the Super Star Destroyers on the side. But yeah, and just like the movie we were talking about, got that 40-year plaque of Return of the Jedi.
Be very careful setting that down. I don't want to see it blow up.
Oh, dude, that'd probably get the views, man. But I don't want to. And what's really cool, actually, about that set is when you open it up, there's little Lego studs, and they're all different colors, and they represent IG-88, Boba Fett, Bosk, Zuckuss, Forlom, and Dengar, and then Vader standing in front of them, when he was asking them all the bounty hunters that we needed to track down the rebels. Yeah, so hell yeah, dude. It's really cool and intricate, but I'm a prequels guy, like I've said for the millionth time, but the original trilogy too, man. It's just, it connects, and it reminds me of like being a very young child and developing that love for Star Wars. So, man, that's awesome. That's such a good one.
So, since you told me who your favorite Jedi is, I'm going to tell you who mine is.
Let it
who
fly.
mine is. So this might be cliche, but my favorite my favorite Jedi is Anakin. And like I
Okay.
said, I know it might be cliche, but the reason isn't just because of his arc in the movies, but I'm also including everything he goes through in Clone Wars. Just the thing that gets me about Anakin and his, I'll say it, fall from grace, is how we see someone that is so kind-hearted, someone that is so just he would do anything for his friends, his loved ones. He would literally fight and die for everybody that he cares
Right.
about. How someone like that was manipulated to turn on everyone that he loves just because his essentially like father figure is saying, I can save your wife. You can trust me. I got you. And
Sick.
I feel like the one moment where I feel like Anakin could have fixed all of it is the moment uh, that Sidious that Palpatine essentially reveals to him that hey, I'm the Sith Lord, and Anakin has him at essentially has him at knife point. And every time I'm watching that scene, I'm yelling at the TV, Anakin, just do it. Just just hit him and just deal with the consequences later. Just do it. And that's the reason that why Anakin's my favorite Jedi, just because of how we see someone that is a good person and just he gets manipulated, twisted, turned into a just gets turned into a demon, essentially, just a manipulated slave,
Uh,
and he lives his entire life like that.
bro, it's so sad. Especially when you put it that way. Because I always thought the same too. It's like, bro, if you're just gonna, slap he's taken down a lot of people in the Clone Wars, especially if you go through all those seasons. Anakin has gone through a lot. He's not
Mhm.
scared to take someone down. Count Dooku, like, and I know Palpatine was like, do it, like kill him. It's just weird. It's like, oh, it's that easy, but it's so crazy how Palpatine pulled all those strings for all those years and was still able to get Anakin to basically just be so gullible to the fact that, oh, about, Padme potentially dying at childbirth. Let me fix things. Let come with me. Let me show you how to do it. And then when it happens, he's like, together we can find the way to, cheat death, basically. And it's like, bro. So if you would have told me earlier in between the fine lines that it said, oh, I've never done this before, but if we work together, we'll figure it out. Like,
We'll
bro,
figure it.
you just
Yeah,
told me earlier, for sure, but with that scene too, I actually just saw a clip on Instagram not that long ago where when Anakin ignites his lightsaber and they kind of like pan with each other and they're like walking, Palpatine is actually like this out of
you're
his
talking.
sleeve.
You're talking about the clip that Retney put out, aren't you?
Holocron.
From yeah, yeah, I saw that one too, where he's about to like call his like he's about to call his saber to him, and I'm thinking to myself, I think Anakin could still take you though,
Oh yeah,
because the thing is the version of Anakin that we see right before he falls, he's at like outside of becoming the chosen one. He's at the peak of his powers. I mean,
yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
most powerful. version of Anakin that we see. Actually, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. The most powerful version of Anakin that we see, and fight me on this, is him in the Mortis arc. That's the closest that we see him becoming the chosen one.
Right.
Because
I agree.
He's in tune with the entirety of the Force, that entire arc, and if he wouldn't have gotten his mind wiped, who knows what would have happened. So
yeah, nutty as hell. But then again, it's like, you know, since we're on the what if train, like, what if Anakin did just stay in the chambers and Mace would have returned? He had Palpatine. I fully believe that Palpatine would have been donezo right there.
Well, even if and I go that's something that I touch on in my what if that I'm putting out. Yes, Palpatine was probably about to get killed by Mace, but he had a backup plan. It's Palpatine. His backup plans have backup plans. So I don't think it would have been that easy. As much as I see what you're saying, and I kind of agree with it, that could Mace have killed him? Yes. But I think he allowed himself to lose there because he sensed Anakin was coming. He's like, you know what? I'm going to lay it on thick here, and
I'll take the makeover and everything. I will need a lot of like a backup, like a face cleanser after this, because you're gonna fuck me up.
I just that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize about Palpatine is he had. Contingency plans on contingency plans. Like, he was going to make sure, he was doing everything he could to stave off death. And I don't think killing him would have been that easy. So that's, again, I take that into account when I made my what if. Like, you'll see if I do the parts 2 through 4, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if anyone that's watching this is interested, go into my Spotify page and listen to parts 1 through 4. It's the first thing I ever did, and I think it's pretty good. I'm biased though, so
yeah, man, you gotta love your own product.
Just let me know what y'all think. But yeah, I think to round it out, I don't think killing Palpatine would have been that easy. I think he would have figured a way to get it to get Mace got if Anakin wasn't about to show up, but we'll never know.
Yeah, shit. I can buy all different fashions of what is actually going to happen, but it only happened one way, and it didn't end good for Mace or Anakin or Palpatine ultimately. So, there was actually one thing to end this episode. This has been great so far. But I've had this idea, and I knew that since you're a big what if person, I got a theory, and I feel like I've only told. I don't think I've said it in a recording, but you can shoot it down, you can run with it, whatever. But check this out. I think with whatever goes on with Baylan Skoll in the Ahsoka series, or him being a dark Jedi, whatever he is, obviously he used to be a Jedi. But I have this feeling that every time Anakin was brought up and Baylan talked about him, especially to Ahsoka, it was kind of like a yeah, we knew who he was, like, especially that line when he's like, we all knew Anakin, we knew what he was capable of, blah blah blah. I have this feeling that Baylan went down this dark path and wasn't an Inquisitor, and he wasn't a side character. He was never a character until the Ahsoka series, because I think that if Anakin didn't work, that Palpatine had pulled some strings to make Baylan his next apprentice. I've always had this weird thing thinking, okay, well, he doesn't really, he's not like too up on Anakin. He knew who Anakin became. He knew what he meant to Ahsoka, but it's just weird to me that there's this just dark Jedi. And he wants to chase something more. He doesn't want the Jedi to be up and then the Sith to be up. He doesn't want to see that all recycle again. He wants to end that. So I wonder if that drive for him to get to the Mortis gods or whatever's calling to him, Abeloth, the father, or the brother, like whatever it is. I just think that Palpatine had something to do with Baylan, but then again, that could definitely not be the thing, but it's fun. But yeah, I wanted to share that.
I like that theory. The only thing is we need more background on Skoll. We need more.
Absolutely.
We only see what he is in the Ahsoka series. That's all we see. We don't see how he got there. We just see that he's essentially a dark Jedi. That's what I'm calling him. That's what you've called him. I think that's what most everyone thinks that he is. He's a dark Jedi.
Right.
So I don't know if Palpatine would have had him as a contingency. Because it sounds like he just got disillusioned and saw the hypocrisy of the Jedi at the end, but I don't think he was just pure evil or could be turned evil, because he's got, the thing is with Skoll is he's got a code. I mean, like, even he is doing evil deeds, but it's not evil for evil's sake, if that makes sense.
Right.
So,
yep, I know exactly what you mean.
I don't think
that's a good way to put it.
I don't think he would have been so easy to turn to Sidious. I don't something about his character just tells me that he wouldn't allow himself to be turned the way that Anakin was, because the thing about how Anakin was turned is not only was it the nightmare about Padme dying in childbirth. That wasn't the only thing. At the same time, he feels like the Jedi don't trust him, that Mace hates his guts, which is true, and he feels like he can't go. And he feels like the reason that he goes to Palpatine is because he feels like he can't go to Obi-Wan. He can't open up to essentially his brother and say, "Hey, man, I'm having nightmares about Padme dying in childbirth. Oh, and by the way, we got married, and we're having a kid." So I don't think he could. So the way that Anakin turned and how Palpatine manipulated that into his own game wouldn't work with Skoll, because he doesn't have that en route, and also I don't think Skoll would turn as easily as Anakin would. I think Skoll would have been able to see right through what Palpatine was trying to do. So
yeah, I can buy that too. I just always thought it was like, man, there's something up with this, and it's weird how he talks about Anakin. And it's just weird that we have like dark Jedi, because I mean there are some fans who are like gray Jedi, dark Jedi, like those don't exist. But it's just like you look at him and you're like, well,
he's definitely a dark Jedi, because he's not. Yeah, he's not a Sith.
He's neither. So like it's like you put both together. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. But I mean, we'll see. We got filming coming up this spring, so I'm pretty excited for that. But
I've got my own theory about that. Just real quick. So
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's so. Just real quick. You played the Force Unleashed games, right? You know who Starkiller is, right?
Okay, so really, no, I have not played the game. But I've always been one from the outside to be like, bro, get this Starkiller dude out of here. Like, come on, no one's stronger than Anakin, Vader. Like, there's just none of this. But the one person that actually got me to be like, oh, okay, Starkiller's pretty dope is actually JT Lovecraft. So actually, shout out
Yeah,
to
JT.
JT
Yeah,
for kind of getting me on the Starkiller.
love that kid. JT, if you're watching, thank you for the shirt, man. So but yeah, my theory is that what's calling to him. So bear with me here. So I think that Anakin is the Anakin's the father, Ahsoka's the daughter, and what's calling to him is the son. By that I mean, so in this theory, Vader has Starkiller as a secret apprentice, and he's getting out of hand. He's not being he can't control him anymore. So he goes to the Emperor and says, "Hey, can you try to handle him?" Uh and Starkiller puts up a good fight against Palpatine. Kind of beats him up a little bit. He's like, "Okay, you know what? I'm getting my butt kicked. So let's jettison him out to another galaxy." Starkiller lands on Peridia, and he's in like the same like Jedi like sarcophagus that Maul was in.
Okay.
And so Baylan, so Skoll goes to this sarcophagus, and what's calling to him, it's the son. He's reincarnated himself in Starkiller. That's why he's so powerful. That's why Starkiller is so powerful, because he's a reincarnation of the sun. So
See, that I can buy. That I can buy.
that's why I'm saying it. And then we get Starkiller versus Ahsoka in Ahsoka season 2. It's not gonna happen, but I would. Oh, I'd pay good money to watch it. I would pay good money to watch that.
Wow. That's a good that's good right there. Because I mean, let's say we do get Sam Witwer to he voiced the son, he Darth Maul. It would all make sense, and ultimately he's Starkiller. So
I would lose if we got if Sam came back and played Starkiller.
It's a
live
3-1.
I would. I think I might spontaneously combust, man. Like honestly, I would. That would make me so happy. But yeah, that's my
dude.
theory.
See, I can buy that there. When it's the point to where it's like, seeing Sam Witwer in the credits for Ahsoka and Marok was Starkiller, it's like, okay, guys, please take it back just a little bit. It's too easy. But in this case, I can see that, and I've never heard that, so that's dope as hell.
Yeah, this was a theory I've had in a while. I've said in a couple different podcasts and a couple different situations. So yeah, it's definitely something that I believe would I had to make it like fit within canon, and to me that makes the most sense. The reason that Starkiller is so powerful is because he's literally a reincarnation of the sun. He's a literal god. So
Right.
that's why he's so powerful.
See, and I like that. And then I also like the Abeloth theory. Like, that's obviously been all over the place. I think it's going to be something godly, and of course through Mortis. But my thing too with like Shin Hati, everyone loves her. When she came on screen, everyone was like, who is this? What's going on? This character is dope. There's thirst traps all over TikTok of her. like she literally took a hold of the internet for those 8 weeks while Ahsoka was coming out and had it in a chokehold. So
Yep.
who better not than to give Shin more screen time and let Abeloth come back and take over Shin's body. So she was always, especially like when she had the run in with Luke, she would take the form or multiply to basically save her main vessel, like herself.
Mm-hmm.
So using Shin as that would be pretty dope. So those are, I mean,
See,
I can get along with both of those.
the thing about Abeloth and is the same argument a lot of people have about Starkiller is if you bring either one of those characters into canon, you have to nuke them because they are so powerful.
Right.
Because Abeloth, like Luke didn't defeat Abeloth. If you've
Right.
read that story, he doesn't beat her. He just throws her in a black hole for 1,000 years. That's all that's all he can do because she's that powerful. So my whole I like Abeloth as a as her being like the mother. That would make I like that theory. But if you're gonna bring her in, you've got to either nuke her or have one theory that I've seen, or one leak that a supposed leak that I've seen is that Anakin as the father and Ahsoka as the daughter have to come together and they defeat Abeloth. Like they cast her out or beat her or something. So I like that because it would make sense because you've got
Yeah.
Force Ghost Anakin at his as the father, as the chosen one going up against Abeloth. So that would make sense. But with that character, it's just they've just gotta watch what they're doing because it's a power scaling thing. So
Yep. What I do like about it though is it's in none other than Dave Filoni's hands. Now, this is where I would get sketched and kind of suspicious as if, and nothing against these directors, but I'm just throwing names out there. Like, let's say Leslie Headland was the one to bring Abeloth or Starkiller in, or Deborah Chow, or even Jon Favreau. Like, I think the one person who could do this and execute it in a good way is, of course, Dave Filoni.
is
He has the
Filoni, yeah.
mind of George Lucas. He understands Star Wars to the point to where it can be very relatable and not piss a lot of people off because it seems like everyone is more in Dave Filoni's corner than anyone, which I feel like is why he got the CCO job. Just very simple. But I think since he's the one in charge of it, I feel like it's gonna be in a good way to where everyone can sort of be comfortable with it, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because to make a Star Wars pun, he is the Obi-Wan Kenobi to George's Qui-Gon.
Oh yeah.
He's been the prince who was promised to make another pop culture reference. He's the guy. He knows his stuff inside and out. So yeah, I think Dave is the one to do it. I just wonder if Disney's gonna let him give him the reins and say, "Here, play, have fun." Because yeah, that's I think that's about I think that's about all I can say about that without
Yeah.
tangent. So
Yeah, for sure. Which I mean, obviously with how this went, we could definitely get another episode or even like a live stream put together
yeah,
to where we can actually go over these things, and especially with that film starting up in the spring. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to with Ahsoka and Anakin, World Between Worlds Anakin being the father, if that's the role he's going to take, which it just seems like that's the case. But
that's the way that I took it watching that episode. That version of Anakin that we saw, he's literally that is chosen one Anakin. That's the father. Like that's what he's supposed to be. So
Absolutely.
Anakin fanboy here. So
Hell yeah. And I'm still waiting for my Quinlan Voss show, damn it. Give me the path. I want to see Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Voss be cool, smuggle Jedi, the Underground Railroad. Let's do this. Let's make his name drop in the Kenobi series more important 2024. But hey, man, it was a great time finally getting to talk with you about Star Wars. Man, for all those still here, let everyone know where they can find you, bro.
All right. Well, if you guys are interested in finding me, it's the same name against every single platform. You can find me on Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube at Tales from Tashi Station, which I believe will be down in those comments. So check me out. Let me know what you guys think.
Absolutely. Yes. Everything will be down in the description below as always. So please go check out Tales from Tashi Station. Let's congratulate him on 50 subs. It's a huge milestone, no matter how you look at it. So let's keep getting that up. But yeah, man, I just wanted to say
give me to 100,
thank you.
Please.
Yeah, let's get him to 100. I need you guys to help me out too. And you guys have done everything for me. So let's go share the love.